Welcome back to Talking Sports with Chris. I'm Chris, and today I'll be doing part two of my NFL mock draft. Now, first, starting at the fifth overall spot, I have the New York Jets trading up to the fifth overall spot in place of the Chargers to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, I think they do this move because it gives Aaron Rodgers another huge weapon here. Especially to pair up with Garrett Wilson. And I think it's just such a great fit because it's New York and Marvin Harrison is kind of a big market guy. I think the Jets will draft Marvin Harrison to pair him up with Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Breece Hall, Mike Williams, Tyler Conklin, like all these guys. And I think the Jets are gonna be like all in here because they have Aaron Rodgers for like one more season now. So Marvin Harrison these past few years with Ohio State he's been great. So last year with Ohio State he had 67 receptions for 1,211 yards, 14 touchdowns. He had every season besides 2021 where he only had like 11 receptions for 139 yards. Um, Other than that, he's been and like only three touchdowns. But other than that, 2022 he was amazing with 77 receptions, 1,263 yards, and 14 touchdowns. Like Marvin Harrison's a really reliable wide receiver to throw the ball to. He can even rush really well. As last year he had two carries for 26 yards and a touchdown, rushing touchdown. So that's really good, and Um, that would help the Jets a lot with their offensive scheme here. And just to think that to have a wide receiver trio of Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, and Marvin Harrison Jr., if they all stay healthy, that would be absolutely bonkers, to be honest. And with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, and Breece Hall is still there in the backfield, they beefed up their offensive line, Tyron Smith to help like keep Aaron Rodgers not being hurt. They would surround Rodgers a lot. And if they bring in Marvin Harrison Jr. by trading up, like yeah, it's gonna be a few assets given up, but it's a definite possibility, and I can really see the New York Jets benefiting off of Marvin Harrison Jr. as he's the type of guy who you would want really, because he's 6'4", 205 pounds. And for his standpoint, his birth, like where he was born, is not far. He was born in Philadelphia. That's like a couple hours away. I think it would be a great, good fit for the New York Jets. It's not like they like desperately need um a wide receiver. I just think you want with their situation they're at right now. You want to build so much around Aaron Rodgers to like really go all in for this year, like because they haven't made the playoffs in years. But Marvin Harrison is he's a great route runner. He can catch the ball really well. And the atmosphere he would be at when if he went to New York would fit him right because he's that kind of player who like kind of benefits off like the big apple as people call it. So I think Marvin Harrison to the New York Jets would be such a good fit, and it would just help Aaron Rodgers a ton. And then next in the NFL draft, the sixth overall pick, I have the New York Giants drafting Malik Nabers. Now, this is a no-brainer as well. Some people have the New York Giants drafting quarterback, but I like what I said before with like round pick 1 through 4, all the quarterbacks that are taken there because the Vikings desperately want JJ McCarthy. So I think the situation where with if all these picks go well, the situation that the Giants are in, I think they target for a wide receiver one, which they haven't had since Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, they tried it with Golden Tate, they tried it with Kenny Galladay, didn't work out with any of with both of them. Um, so I think the Giants try to draft a guy like Malik Nabers, and it would be a decent fit because then if you bring the Malik Nabers in, and then maybe they draft Bo Nix or Michael Penix in the second round, that happens, which I think it could happen, or they can trade up from the second round to get Michael Penix. But if you get Malik Nabers, you put him with Darius Slayton, Hodgins, Hyatt, McKenzie, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Bryce Ford Wheaton gets healthy and comes back and plays like he was before. I think Daniel Jones had, and I even think they could draft the running back like maybe a Frank Gore Jr. in the third or fourth round. But they would surround Daniel Jones with this amount of weapons that they even improved the offensive line a lot with guys like Austin Schlottman, Aaron Stinney, and John Runyon, Jermaine Illuminor, as I think his last name. But they gotten better offensively, and if you draft Malik Nabers and Daniel Jones still does not perform well under what they have now, I mean, then that's how you know that he's not the guy. And then you draft Michael Penix in the second round, and you have your quarterback of the future there, or at least an attempted quarterback for the future. Um, and it gives Brian hopefully. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. I'm hoping for a good season. I'm hoping for a Michael Penix. Things happen. Like if you get a second round and you get Michael Penix and you also get Malik Nabers, oh yeah, let's go. I'm all in for that because I mean Daniel Jones. They've already expressed how much he's not the guy. So just give Malik Nabers, give him Daniel Jones. Try to see how he works with it, but I think I think the Giants will draft a quarterback in the second round, whether it's Bo Nix or it's Michael Penix Jr. if they're lucky. But um, I think after this year, Daniel Jones is gone from the Giants. I looked into it, and if the Giants cut Daniel Jones after June 1st next year in 2025, they would save $30 million and only have a $11 million cap hit. So I think they can make the risk of drafting Nabers and drafting Michael Penix in the second round, if he's around. So that's where I stand at sixth overall. I mean, Malik Nabers, he's 89 receptions last year, 1,569 yards, 14 touchdowns with LSU. It was just such a spectacular season, and he's consistent with it too. Two consistent 1,000 yard season. Last year, in 2023, he had a standout season with touchdowns at least because in 2022 he only had 3 touchdowns. In 2021 he had 4. But he's still such a great player. I mean, he had 1,000 yards in 2022, even though he only had 3 touchdowns. And I think this would give the Giants a much better receiving core. I mean, they tried with guys like Kenny Galladay and guys like Golden Tate, but I think Malik Nabers, he's young, he's up and coming, he should be good to develop, and he's the guy that you can go a lot with reception wise because he has 89 receptions here. And it could be actually their first certified wide receiver one since Odell Beckham Jr. So I think Malik Nabers would be a great fit for the New York Giants, and to just give the Giants another weapon just to so they can push forward and have a nice rebuilding season this year. Whether Drew Lock's behind the sticks or whether Daniel Jones is healthy all season, we'll just have to see. But yeah, I think Malik Nabers will fall to number 6 overall and go to the New York Giants. So now for the number 7th overall pick, it's a tough one here. It's the Tennessee Titans. Now, the thing with Tennessee is I think they're in such a rebuilding mode that they're in the kind of they're also in the best player available kind of um reach here. It's like who are they gonna go with? So in my opinion, I think if we're looking at what the what the landscape is throughout what like who is left and like how Tennessee looks at a as a team, I think they might go offensive tackle, and I'm saying Joe Alt from Notre Dame. He's the best tackle, the best offensive line in the draft here. He's the highest ranked on tackle, even offensive line, and I think that's one of the biggest needs for Tennessee. Um, is offensive tackle to protect their guy and Will Levis. So I think Joe Alt would be the best fit, the best player available here for the Tennessee Titans. They got in Lloyd Cushenberry. They still have Peter Skoronski, but their offensive tackle is their tackles are not good. So in my opinion, at least, so I think at like what they're looking at right now, definitely Joe Alt, offensive tackle, would be the best fit for the Titans because they got quarterback, they got Will Levis, they got running back Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears, they got receivers with Calvin Ridley, Hopkins, and Traylon Burks. They could use a tight end, but I think more they could use an offensive tackle more because you need to protect the quarterback to at least give him a chance to throw the ball. So I think Joe Alt would be the best case scenario here for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, he's coming out of Notre Dame, and he's just the best in their draft. So that's really the thing, is just the best player available here. That's just the main thing, is who's gonna be there for the Titans that would not like generationally translate their team to a higher contender, but just at least push forward for their rebuild. So yeah, Joe Alt gets drafted to the Tennessee Titans. And lastly, for the 8th overall pick, it is the Atlanta Falcons. Now, they've done a lot this offseason with signing Kirk Cousins and signing Darnell Mooney. They still got Rondell Moore, Kyle Pitts. So I think they're good offensively. I mean, you finally got a good offensive coordinator and head coach who will do better than Arthur Smith. You finally got a competent quarterback in Kirk Cousins who will throw the ball to these guys. So now we're looking at defensively is the question, because they got some nice defensive um players, but they don't have the main guy. I mean, they got Jesse Bates, who is a great safety. Love Jesse Bates. And then you got AJ Terrell, who I love. But their linebackers slash edge rushers and even D tackle could definitely use a lot of work. Um, they got Grady Jarrett, but the thing is, he's getting older, and I don't think he's gonna be as good as like previous years, if you know what I'm saying. So I think and they got Lorenzo Carter, who, he was good with the Giants, but he hasn't been the stud that he used to be, if that makes sense. So that's where I think that defensively, linebacker ish, linebacker D line, like whoever's best available with linebacker D line is where I think the Atlanta Falcons will go. So, if so my opinion, that guy that they will go for is Dallas Turner, linebacker from Alabama. He's overall ranked 6th overall ranked, so it's there. It's there, and like he's gonna help your defense a lot. I mean, he's a great linebacker coming from a great system in Alabama. He's 21 years old, and he's a stud. Last year, he had 28 solo tackles, 10 sacks, 25 assisted tackles with 53 total, two forced fumbles. I mean, he has a great year last year, and that's what the Falcons really need is a stud linebacker, because their linebacker core right now is Arnold Ebiketie, Caden Ellis, Troy Anderson, and Lorenzo Carter. That's a room that needs to be builded on. So that's definitely. I mean, the highest number of sacks that was 6.5 from Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree. That is something that needs to be built more. Like none of their players hit double-digit sacks, but you know who had double-digit sacks last season? Dallas Turner. Bring Dallas Turner to boost his defense. He's 6'4", 242 pounds, coming from Alabama. He had 10 sacks last season. If you put that 10 sacks with the Falcons last year, they would probably be in the playoffs. I mean, that NFC South is not a good division. So that's what I say. I think Atlanta Falcons will draft Dallas Turner to boost their offense, their defense. So that's part two. Stick out for part three. Just doing 4 picks at a time until we make it to the NFL draft. So, just a rundown: fifth overall pick, Jets take Marvin Harrison Jr. Sixth, Giants take Malik Nabers. Seventh, Tennessee Titans take Joe All. Eighth, the Falcons take Dallas Turner. I think these picks will definitely improve each team. Um, whether it's like the Jets where they like really want to build Aaron Rodgers, or whether it's Falcons who are they're right there making the playoffs in my opinion, because I mean they only really have to beat out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean the Saints aren't good, and the Panthers they haven't been contending since Luke Kuechly was on the team. So that like the Falcons are there, so that's why I think Dallas Turner would be great, because it would just help their defense a ton. So those are my picks. Um, Stay tuned for next time picks. I think the next time I'll be doing mock draft will be Monday. Stay tuned. Wednesday I will be doing my WrestleMania WWE WrestleMania predictions. For those of you who like pro wrestling. And then not on Friday, stay tuned to where I will be interviewing my old freshman basketball coach. So hope you guys have a great night. Thank you for listening or watching wherever you see this. Stay keep notifications on Spotify, YouTube. Listen every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Have a good night. See you later.